Hey there. If you're tuning into this explainer, you're probably standing right on the edge of a massive, super exciting milestone, buying your very first home. Navigating the real estate market for the very first time? Yeah, it can absolutely feel like trying to learn a whole new language. But look, that's exactly why we're here today. We're going to break the first-time homebuyer's journey down into a super clear, totally manageable step-by-step process. And we're tailoring it specifically to the vibrant market of Wichita, Kansas, in partnership with Reese Nichols, South Central Kansas.
Real quick, here's our roadmap. Number 1, welcome to Wichita home ownership. 2, securing your financing first. 3, searching for your home. 4, offers, inspections, and closing. And finally, number 5, meet your guide, Nick Widener.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1. Welcome to Wichita home ownership.
You know, buying a home isn't just about grabbing 4 walls and a roof. It's really about the community you're choosing to invest in. And honestly, Wichita is a brilliant choice. It's proudly known as the air capital of the world because of its massive aerospace industry. But what's really cool is how this city of over 650,000 people perfectly balances a highly affordable cost of living with just incredible amenities. You get that legendary Midwestern hospitality, like the kind where your new neighbors might literally show up with a welcome casserole, right alongside a surprisingly robust art scene. We're talking places like the Wichita Art Museum and interactive spots like Exploration Place. It's just a city full of innovation and opportunity.
Okay, moving right along to Section 2, securing your financing first.
So before we even think about touring houses, we have to tackle the foundational step, talking to a lender and securing your financing. Getting pre-approved early is an absolute must because it determines exactly what you can afford based on your income, your credit, and your current expenses. But here's a huge pro tip for you. While you're going through this pre-approval process, you need to go into a total financial freeze. I'm serious. The absolute don'ts right now: do not quit or change your job. Do not open any new credit cards or loans. And please, do not deposit large, unexplained chunks of cash into your bank account. You want to keep your financial profile as boring and stable as possible so you don't derail your loan.
Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the one number that probably causes the most anxiety for first-time buyers, the down payment. This is simply the cash payment you make at closing that represents a percentage of the home's total price. And it's true, 3 to 20% is the typical range that most buyers expect to pay. But hey, guess what? That strict 20% requirement, it's kind of a myth. Sure, 20% is fantastic if you have it sitting around, but there are powerful lending options and exceptions out there. Depending on your situation, you might qualify for specialized programs that make buying a home incredibly attainable. For example, VA loans offer amazing benefits for eligible veterans and service members, and those often require zero down payment. Plus, there are numerous down payment assistance programs out there specifically built to help first-time buyers cross that finish line. So look, don't let the fear of a massive down payment stop you from starting that conversation with a lender.
All right, on to Section 3, searching for your home.
Okay, finances are locked in, your budget is set. Now we get to the fun part, the house hunt. But there's definitely an art and a science to this. To keep your search super focused and efficient, you've got to use the right tools. Specifically, you'll want to use your agent's dedicated website, which is nickw.reesenichols.com, and the Reese Nichols app. By sticking to these specific platforms, your agent will help you nail down a customized wants and needs list, set up saved searches, and expertly schedule your showings. Fun fact for you, on average, a buyer will preview about 5 to 7 houses before finally finding the one.
Which brings us to Section 4, offers, inspections, and closing.
So you've toured the homes, and you finally walk into the one. You can literally see your furniture in the living room, you're ready. This is where we enter the final sprint, and it happens in 3 distinct phases. First, making an offer and negotiating terms. Second, the inspection period to really investigate the property's condition. And third, heading to the closing table. Having this visual roadmap turns what could be a super stressful time into just a sequence of totally manageable, expected checkpoints. Let's zoom in on crafting a competitive offer for a second. It's about so much more than just the price tag. Your agent is going to help you strategize around elements like contingencies, which are basically conditions that have to be met for the sale to go through, as well as the closing date, the home's history, and comparable sales. But the real secret weapon? Understanding micro markets. Every region, every neighborhood, sometimes even a specific street, has unique nuances that affect demand and pricing. Your agent's job is to analyze those highly localized micro markets so you can make a winning offer that still totally protects your budget.
Once your offer gets that magical accepted, you enter the escrow period. Here, you're going to hit a couple of standard financial checkpoints, and it's super important to view these as normal, planned steps, not surprise roadblocks. First up are inspections, usually happening in the first week. You're basically paying a pro to examine the home top to bottom. This usually runs between $400 and $700, depending on what kind of inspections you order. Later on, at the closing table, you'll have your closing costs. These generally run about $4,000 or more, and they cover the whole shebang: title fees, credit reports, appraisals, and your prepaid insurance and taxes. Knowing these numbers right up front just keeps you empowered and totally in control.
And finally, Section 5. Meet your guide, Nick Widener.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today, right? From getting pre-approved all the way to getting the keys at closing. But the absolute biggest takeaway here is that you are never, ever expected to navigate this journey alone. Meet your guide, Nick Widener. Nick is a dedicated realtor with Reese Nichols, South Central Kansas, and he is ready to tailor this entire process to exactly what you need. We're talking weekly check-in calls, quick text updates, and total transparency the whole way through. You can reach Nick directly on his phone at 316-371-7958, or just shoot him an email at nickwide@reesenichols.com. His website, again, is nickwide.reesenichols.com. Oh, and because communication is absolutely key, you can easily track Nick down on Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and pretty much all the major home search sites.
So we've laid out the map. We've reviewed all the checkpoints. The path to homeownership in Wichita is super clear, and it's right in front of you. Honestly, the only thing standing between you and the front door of your new house is taking that very first action. So what is your next step? To reach out to Nick and let's get started.